Good afternoon and welcome to the Peace Circle, where we come together to be the change we wish to see in the world. Who wouldn't want more peace? Who wouldn't want to be peaceful and to see the world in a better place? To see that oneness that we know exhibited in everything we say and everything we do. Who wouldn't want to see neighbors caring for each other with no seeming separation or division, respecting each other's cares and what is important to each other? Of course, that's what we would choose, but it isn't always what we see. So we come together at the Peace Circle to be that change we wish to see in the world, because if I am not at peace in this moment, I have nothing to contribute. I'm not giving to that peaceful nature. I am not holding and knowing in the truth. So every Peace Circle, we always begin with, I too have a dream. And it really sums up what it's all about. In my dream too, we all are equal, and not color, religion, nor income defines who we are. Neither country nor region defines us as kin. Whether 2 legs or 4, plants or animals, we are all created of the one Creator, with no greater claim to borrow this beautiful earth. In my dreams, we all are one, treating each other with love and respect, and living in peace. We are all truly awake, knowing our purpose to share love and joy, and to uplift each other, and in doing so, uplift ourselves. In my dream, we each remember and appreciate each other, and truly understand that all is well. So it's a knowing that all is well. It's not something that I have to create. It's a knowing, and it's a trust. So how do I get there when I'm not feeling that? When what I see on the outside doesn't see, or what I'm feeling or experiencing on the inside doesn't seem to match up, how do I get to that place of speaking and knowing the truth? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about changing your thinking. You know, in New Thought, that's something that you'll hear just about more than anything. Change your thinking and change your life. It is something that we are based on, that we know thoughts are things, that there is power in what we're paying attention to. So how do we, as Ernest Holmes says, how do we think aright? And that's, it sounds, well, just think of something else. But if I tell you, whatever you do, do not think of a purple cow, you're going to think of a purple cow. You can't get it out of your mind, because all you're thinking is, don't think that. Don't think of purple. Don't think of a cow. And that's all that's going to come up. So when I'm caught sometimes in a loop, what do I do? And we're going to talk about, how do I go into those places and change my mind? How do I be in that place and be different? Patricia Diane Cotter says, trying to change the physical conditions without changing my consciousness is like trying to change the reflection in a mirror without changing the object causing the reflection. So basically, it's like trying to say, okay, I want to see something different, but nothing has changed. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And it's not about the outer change. It's about the inner change. Someone can give you, $20, but that's not going to give you forever wealth. I've heard the saying many times that you can give a man a fish and he'll eat a meal. But if you teach a man to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. And I don't mind saying the man in that point, because I'm not a big fisherman. I personally am not a big person for that, but you get the analogy. So it's about learning the skills to take ourselves out of where we don't want to be and put ourselves back into where we do want to be. And we are live today, and I would love to hear from you. So reach on out, let us know, what are you thinking about? What are the things that need to be changed for you sometimes? Where is your thinking at times? And the first reading that I want to share with you is from Louise Hay, who has always talked about changing your thinking. And this is from her book, Heart Thoughts, that I love. And the topic of the page is change your thoughts. And the first part says, what is important in this moment is what are you choosing to think? Believe and say right now. These thoughts and words will create your future. Your thoughts form the experiences of tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year. So, what I'm thinking about today is creative. Where I am today, if there's something in my picture of life that I am not happy with, it was a result of what I thought, what I did or said years ago up until now. And sometimes it's not necessarily conscious. There are so many things that come into our life, and it's a subconscious thing. Or it was things that we were told from childhood. Money doesn't grow on trees. When in truth, it's made of paper, so it technically does. That we're lucky to have enough. And yes, of course, we're blessed, and gratitude is a beautiful thing. And that doesn't mean that that's all you get. What you see is not all that there is. It's just all that you've received in this moment. So it's opening ourselves up to a new thought, something bigger, and knowing that my good can only come to me and it never takes away from anyone else. And when I am in a better place, I give the opportunity to share more, to be more, and be the example to show how to be more. So the other part of this reading is it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. How many times have you refused to think a positive thought about yourself? Well, you can refuse to think negative thoughts about yourself too. People say, I can't stop thinking a thought. Yes, you can. You have to make up your mind that it's what you're going to do. You don't have to fight your thoughts when you want to change things. When that negative voice comes up, you can say, thank you for sharing, and I'm choosing to do something else. I don't want to buy into anymore. I want to create another way of thinking. Don't fight your thoughts. Acknowledge them and go beyond them. So just like when we see a cloud in the sky, you know that it's going to pass. Let it pass. Even with that, well, that's interesting. Why did that pop up? Where did that come from? We don't need to know. Those are the weeds in the garden. We can pluck out the weed and just let it go. We no longer need to hold on to anything that does not serve us. So be in that place of mindfulness. Oftentimes in our lives, we are just going through the motions of life. It's busy. We're going on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And are we paying attention to what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, what I'm doing, my routine or lack thereof? Is it serving me? Because if it's not, I have the ability to change that. And Louise Hay, in her book, You Can Change Your Life, to me, that was by far life-changing. Of all the books I've ever read, that was probably the most life-changing in a different way from Science of Mind, because I wasn't there yet. It actually helped me get there, to understand that I have the power within me to think and be differently. The most important thing that we need to know at any given moment is who and whose I am. It's not about having to be worthy of. I don't need to be worthy of like somebody else somewhere else. It's a choice to say, I choose this now. I know that spirit is for me. That beloved created me. I am the beloved of the beloved. What wouldn't my divine parent want me to have? What is my highest and best? And knowing that I am worthy of that highest and best, not because of something that I did, because I was born that way. There is nothing I can do to not make me loved by spirit in any point in my life. It's about remembering who and whose I am. And in that, I invite you to listen to the words of this song and just be with it and know who and whose you are.
The strength of God is in my life. I am strong. I am healed. I
In the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says the recognition of the presence of God or good automatically wipes out any picture of undesirable conditions. For the Spirit of God is a law of elimination and obliteration to everything unlike itself. So simply recognizing that I am that presence, I am that love, I am peace. Recognizing what it is that is truth and that I choose, that good, that gratitude immediately eliminates that negative thought. So what do I choose instead? There's a lot of things in our teachings that talk about, change your thinking, change your life. And one of the ones that I want to just mention is Emmett Fox has many different articles. They're short essays and very short, easy to read, but so much in them. And one of them is the 7-day mental diet. Now you can see how tiny this is. It's a little booklet. And there's just, what's in it is powerful. And he goes on to talk about, what are we feeding? We think about the diet as far as what we eat. And we always say, it's that's fuel is, the quality of that is how we're going to physically feel. But also what we're thinking, what we're watching, what am I listening to? What am I paying attention to? And he talks about, if you change your mind, your conditions must change too. We are transformed by the renewing of our minds. You must train yourself to choose the subject of your thinking at any given time, and also to choose the emotional tone, or what we call the mood that colors it. Yes, you can choose your moods. Indeed, if you could not, you would have no real control over your life at all. Think about that. I get to choose how I walk through life. How many times have we seen people that were absolutely miserable? Sometimes stuff happens. We're not always going to be happy. There are times of grief. There are times of sadness. There are times of frustration. We go through things all of the time. But no matter what, we get to choose what we're paying attention to. In general, who are you normally? What is your normal disposition? And is it working for you? When you wake up in the morning, are you optimistic? Are you frustrated? Are you happy with where it is you're going next? Do you have a job that you hate? Do you have people in your life that irritate you? So we get to choose how we spend our thoughts, our time, our emotions. We get to choose all of that. I can't control other people, but I can control how I feel about any circumstance. And Emmett Fox goes on to say, in short, if you want to make your life happy and worthwhile, which is what God wishes you to make it, you must begin immediately to train yourself in the habit of thought selection and thought control. Thought selection and thought control. And basically, it says, make up your mind to devote 1 week solely to the task of building a new habit of thought. And during that week, let everything in life be unimportant as compared with that. So it is a practice for 7 days to train our minds to think differently. And we can do that. We can train ourselves, create new neural pathways at any given time. So again, this was the 7-day mental diet by Emmett Fox. What is it that you're thinking? We get to choose. Now, I'm not saying it's always easy in the midst of whatever may be going on in life, but we have that choice. Another one that I love from him is The Golden Key. Now, this actually is a little book that has 22 of his essays, and there's so many good ones. And I would encourage you to look for his short essays. Emmett Fox is amazing. But The Golden Key basically says, think about God instead. No matter what is going on, you go to spirit. You go to spirit. Again and again, you go to spirit, which is what we do in treatment, what we do with our affirmative prayer. We talked last week, one of the books that I brought up last week was the mental equivalent. And again, if you notice, all of these are little books, easy to read, but packed with so much Just so much, not just intention, but so much instruction on simply how to think differently. Because our thoughts become things, which is our life. So if for 1 week I can make it the most important thing to watch what I'm thinking about, it would change the rest of my life. So I encourage you to think about that. In the midst of whatever it may be, think about spirit. You know, I know there was for a long time there were the wristbands, and there was this real movement of what would Jesus do. And we are in New Thought and Science of Mind, we talk about Jesus all the time as the master teacher. What would that Christ consciousness within us, that highest place, that highest knowing, what would it direct us to think? And are we living that way? I'm better at it than I used to be, but that doesn't mean that it's as good as it gets. Life is meant to be amazing. It doesn't mean perfect in the sense that there's never going to be a problem, but how I deal with it and how much it affects my attitude is up to me. We have tools in this movement, and I'm going to go through what those tools are, but I want to play another song for you that talks about change. And it's Karen Drucker's Winds of Change. And really be in that place, in that mindset, that willingness and allow change for you, knowing that spirit is there for you. Just be and allow the words to wash over you.
Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me. Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me. Take me with you, take me with you. I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change, let the winds of change shape and blow, shape and blow. Now I am willing to start a brand new chapter of my heart. Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to make a choice. This new path needs my voice. Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to let go. I surrender, and I know I am willing to let go. I surrender, and I know I surrender, and I know.
So those winds of change come through, and sometimes they can be scary. There's a lot that's happened, especially over the past year and a half. Life is different than it ever was before. Today's reading I loved from Unity's reading, the Daily Word. It was inner peace. So the peace of God is in my mind and heart. Whenever I feel unsettled about the changes happening in the outside world, I remember I have the power to determine my response. After all, if I can decide to be upset with a little practice, I can decide not to be. Inner peace is the key to outer peace. I'm going to read that again. Inner peace is the key to outer peace. I begin by settling my mind and softening my heart. Finding peace within myself. I discover it was there all along, perhaps obscured a bit by the din and clamor of the outside world. I focus my thoughts on peace and affirm quietly to myself, the news of the world has no power over me. I align my heart and mind with God and claim deep and lasting peace. I repeat this throughout the day to stay peaceful. Again, it said, the news of the world has no power over me. I align my heart and my mind with God and claim deep and lasting peace. When I choose peace, peace fills my mind and heart and lights my life. So when I choose peace, I experience it. Nothing on the outside has to change for me to feel differently. I wasn't raised with that understanding. It was a very foreign concept to me. I didn't understand that I could not only react differently, but have a different emotion at any given moment. Sometimes life can feel overwhelming. I can go to spirit with that. I don't have to stay in this place of confusion or seeming anxiety. At any given moment, I don't need to experience fear. I can go to spirit instead. And knowing that, I can know that I am governed, guided, and guarded by that divine beloved. And there is peace in that. So when we say change our thinking, it is being in this place of openness and paying attention, not with judgment, but simply witnessing. You know how many times I've said, I can't believe I did that again. Not again. How did I get here? And getting aggravated with myself is never going to bring about anything good. Oftentimes we expect perfection out of ourselves. We want everything to look a certain way, and we want everything to go a certain way. And when it doesn't, we can get frustrated. It doesn't have to be perfect to feel good. So when I'm not in that place, when I'm not experiencing the peace that I would choose, I can release my burdens. As you learn to release all your burdens to the right action of God, you'll find that everything falls into its proper place. You let your problems slip away from you, realizing that a power greater than you are and a presence that is within you is ready, willing, and able to guide you in all ways. Then peace, security, and fulfillment come with ease, and there's a sense of joy and accomplishment. So it is not about waiting for things to change. This is Ernest Holmes from Thoughts of Things. It's not a waiting for the circumstances to change. I'm the one that shifts on the inside, and life changes. So our tools in Science of Mind and New Thought in general that we use for that are meditation, visioning, gratitude, affirmations, sacred study, treatment. So in meditation, we can come to that place of centering into that oneness, being in that place, that stillness. And it doesn't necessarily, everybody's different in how they meditate. There are people that take classes. There are people that, do it a certain way. You can look at a candlelight and watching it flicker and be in that place of stillness. And that's meditation. You can go on a walk, letting everything else but nature and the beauty of it in. That's meditation. You can have your eyes open or closed. It doesn't have to be sitting, it could be standing. You can do whatever. Doing the dishes can be a meditative place, depending upon if we're freeing our mind and allowing it to be. Another thing is visioning. Instead of, if I feel like I didn't get what I wanted, it's opening my mind and allowing the vision, that bigger picture of spirit, to open that bigger door, and knowing there's something greater. I love that we say this or better. This is something even greater. In that knowing that there is greater out there. At any given point, there's always greater waiting. There's more waiting for. And it's waiting for me to accept it. And I have to shift to it and open my mind, my heart, feeling worthy of it. It's not feeling that I have to be worthy. I was born that way. Michael Bethwood says, pain pushes until your vision pulls you. And that the universe is always expanding. Now, if I'm not in alignment with that, that's when we have stagnation and pain. So the universe is expanding, but I am not always in that place. Maybe I don't want that change. I'm not ready for it. It's not comfortable for me. Before these teachings, and as a lot of times, especially with young children, we have that victim mentality. Things are happening to me. Well, they did this, therefore, it's always somebody else's fault. There's that blame in it. There's no blame in this. And even with change your thinking, change your life. Yes, the thoughts we thought were creative, but we didn't know. It's not about judging ourselves that, I did that. Nobody would consciously create things they don't want. It's simply knowing differently and doing differently right here, right now, from where I am. It's not that it's happening to me. I know that spirit is for me, that beloved. I am the beloved of the beloved, as is each one. And in that knowing, I know spirit is for me. And then you get to that place that you know that it is happening through me. It's not something outside of me. That peace is within me. That goodness, that joy, that love, it is through me that spirit is working. And then it gets to the place of as me, that I am the place where God shows up. I am that I am presence, and knowing it, that is creative in amazing, amazing ways. So we get these tools that get us to that place of, and another tool that we use all the time is gratitude. Louise Hay says, the universe loves grateful people. The more grateful you are, the more you get to be grateful about. It's that simple. And I love that because it is so simple. The universe loves grateful people. The more grateful you are, the more you get to be grateful about. Like attracts like. So what I'm paying attention to, more of is coming to me. The universe doesn't hear, I don't want that. If I'm focused on something, that's what's going to come more into my life. So it's being in that place of knowing and attraction. And one of the tools that we use for that is affirmations. Louise Hay talks a lot about affirmations and you can heal your life. And she said, every word you speak is an affirmation. The subconscious is always listening. So it's not just what we say outwardly, but it's mentally in our self-talk. What am I saying to myself? Am I paying attention to that? Last week when I was talking about power, I was talking about affirmations, and I have a list of them. And there's probably about 30 of them. And, things like, I bless and wish prosperity for all. They are all one with me. I can do anything with my power from within. I'm excited about this day. Every day, in every way, I get better and better. They're knowings that I'm claiming and declaring into the universe, and I know it can't come back void. I know the power of the word, and I know that it attracts. So affirmations are those things that I declare. They're the truths that I know, and I know that I know. And in that paying attention and being in that place, amazing things happen. That's when life starts to shift, and I'm in the flow. The next one that I want to talk about is sacred study. And sacred study are the classes. It's reading the different pamphlets like I was showing you. And it's being in that place of that open mind and allowing the good to come in. That you are a creative individual, that you are creating the life, and you are powerful beyond measure. So it's letting go of all of the stuff and knowing that the wisdom of divine, all of the good that divine is there for and as you. In this thing called You, Ernest Holmes says, your soul belongs to the universe. Your mind is an outlet through which the creative intelligence of the universe seeks fulfillment. So spirit, as you, is creating in greater and greater ways. Now, are you not just allowing, but are you consciously creating? Or is whatever comes, whatever comes? And that's where our power is, in that place of knowing and creating consciously. Gratitude is a practice. So I cannot be grateful and miserable at the same time. So if I'm unhappy, a practice that I can have, if I feel like, well, I'm not getting what I want. Sometimes it's a gift not to get what we think we want, whether that be in a relationship, because sometimes that person wasn't the right one. There was better waiting. There was better, and it's allowing it to happen. Sometimes it may be a job that, you didn't get that job and you may feel upset about it, but it's only because there was a greater opportunity down the line. Or maybe the boss would have been someone that you couldn't have dealt with. There's so many reasons, but we don't know all the whys. It's trusting in spirit and being in that place of knowing this or better and practicing the tools that we have to do that. So the next song that I'm going to play, I invite you to be in that place of rising up. It's a great song. It's of course, it's uplifting as it's Rise Up, but really be in that place. Allow yourself to be in that greater space.
Not gonna cave into this pain in my heart. Not gonna listen to lies of self-hatred. Not gonna cry over yesterday's loss. Slip into darkness and wallow in pain. I've been there and done that, and I will not
So it is rising up with spirit. And in any given moment, we have that tool to just turn to that divine guardian that has no ego, only love, and is there for us, as us, through us, right here, right now. And at any given moment that I choose to remember. And how we remember, the best way is prayer. And we use affirmative prayer. And we call it that because it is a knowing. It is not in pleading. It is not being there and saying, am I worthy enough if you think it's okay? It's knowing and claiming who and whose you are. In that alignment is where things start to shift. And that alignment is always me. Spirit never moves. It's like when you look at the sun. If I'm not in direct line of it, it's because it's at the same place. I know where to look. If I'm not looking, that's me. If I'm in the house, I'm not going to see it. But I can move and I can go outside and see that. The light is always there. Whether or not I'm using it or in contact with it, that's up to me. So it's being in that place of asking and knowing. And in that alignment, we use a 5-step process. It's recognizing that spirit is that beauty, that love, that harmony, that joy, those unchangeable truths of life. That's spirit. And I know that spirit is all that there is. And in that knowing, I am that. I am that oneness, that love, that light, that peace and harmony. I am that joy. It is a part of who and whose I am. So then I say, what is it that I'm choosing? In realization, we say, what do I know? What do I declare? What do I choose now? What is the thought that I choose to cultivate? What is the seed that I'm planting right now? And it's putting that seed in the ground, into the law. That's what we use. That's where we plant it, right into the law, into that knowing, that creative mind, knowing and declaring and affirming. And then it goes to being grateful because we know it's done, that the law as the doer will take care of it. I'm thankful to know that God's got this and that I get to let spirit be in control, and I let it go. And I let spirit and the law, I release it, knowing that it is done, that it is good, and it is done. And in that knowing, I'm freed. I know that I've declared it. I know the truth. There's a shift there. It's a consciousness of knowing and knowing that I know. Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind, not only must we have a complete faith in spirit and its ability to know and do, but we must have complete confidence in our approach to it. We must not be lukewarm in our conviction. We must know that we know. It is that feeling and that knowing is where miracles happen. That's where that change takes place. There is love and there is law. That's what we talk about all the time. That spirit is that love. And law is how it works. And it's important to remember that the law is neutral. It is impersonal. It's not going to give to one and not the other. It's our worthiness that allows that. If we're expecting it, if there were 5 people in a room, and they're just random people in a room, and a practitioner prays. And a practitioner is anyone that knows truth, not just someone that's licensed. It knows and practices the truth. A practitioner prays in truth and treats and knows that truth for perfect employment for each one of those 5. The employment that they receive, that job, will only be for what they feel worthy of. You're not going to get a job you didn't apply for. So what are you applying for? Those 5 people may have come from jobs all over the spectrum financially. Those people may believe that they're worth only X amount. And they'll get a job that was up to X amount. That same treatment gives people what they believe. It's not because one is worth more than the other, one's time is more valuable. It's what they believe that is. And when the consciousness shifts, everything shifts. So it's knowing that the law is not choosing. We're choosing. The taking is mental. What am I bringing to the ocean? Am I filling a cup? Am I filling a barrel? Or am I diving in knowing that there is plenty to play in that joyful ocean and be in that love, knowing that there is plenty for all? So that's where we get to choose in how we receive. What do I believe? And how much do I believe it? And then I let it go. I don't plant a seed, wait a week, and then dig it up to see how deep the roots were. I don't order something from a waitress and then go into the kitchen to see if they actually put the order in. I trust that the waitress actually put the order in. So when I treat, I know that it is done. And I loved this reading. It's called Let Go and Let God. It's again from the Daily Word, and it's September 19th of 2020. It says, I let go and welcome the divine flow. How many times have I prayed for a resolution to a situation that was troubling me, for guidance along my path, or for a new opportunity, all the while clinging to a desired result? Needing situations to work out a certain way or remaining fixed on specific outcomes I want cuts me off from the divine flow of life that transcends the circumstances of my life and the limits of my imagination. I decide to let go and let God by releasing any rigid ideas that might impede the divine flow that is within me. I relax my tight grip on my needs and wants. I pray anew for the clarity to know what is mine to do and release the rest. As I let go and let God, I move toward greater life, love, and peace. So when I'm not trying to wrest something, I'm not trying to wrestle out of life, I can rest in that knowing peacefully that all is well, that there is a bigger plan, that if it isn't this job, that there's something greater waiting, that Spirit has even better planned. And as I know that in gratitude, that's where the shift happens. There's divine timing, and that's for all. If I'm trying to make it happen my way, that's not allowing Spirit for the highest and best. Changing my thinking comes with faith that there is something greater that is working for me, through me. And that's a beautiful knowing. And that's where peace happens. There's a practice in that. You know, we want outward peace. It starts with inner peace. And that's where we contribute. When I am in that peaceful space, I'm not reacting. I'm acting in and with life, for me, for others, for that highest good. When I'm peaceful, I'm overflowing and I'm in the knowing. When I treat for peace and I know the harmony of divine, I'm setting a vibration forth that is so powerful. And Emmett Fox, in his little tiny pamphlet again, his little essay, How to Bring About Peace, talks about that. He says it's not a wonderful thought, in other words, a fantastical, that perhaps an undistinguished and unknown everyday person can sit quietly in a room and do more to save the world from inconceivable horrors of another war than can all the statesmen and diplomats together. Yet such is the case. And Fox goes on to say the fact that the concrete acts of individuals are merely the results of wide and deep currents of thoughts and feelings that already existed in the masses of peoples concerned. War breaks out because for a long time beforehand, the hearts of thousands of people on both sides of the frontier had been filled with hatred and fear, and sometimes also greed, pride, and the rest of the 7 deadly sins. And he goes on to say they are but the aftermath or outpicturing of the physical plane of the evil passions which preceded it. So we're seeing when it finally happens, it's because of all that went before it. He goes on to say it naturally follows from that scientific method for the prevention of war must lie in the changing of the mentality of the people. The holding of peace, peaceful meetings, pamphlets, books. And he goes on to say there's, however, a method of preventing war, which is both simple in its application and unfailing in its results. That method is scientific prayer. If even a comparatively small number of people will learn to pray scientifically and will then devote even a few minutes daily to scientific prayer for universal peace, there would never be another war. Let me say that I cannot too strongly emphasize the fact that it must be scientific prayer if it is to be of any practical use. Because it's knowing and knowing that we know and bringing it forth. It's not wishful thinking, it's not begging, it's not pleading. It's knowing the power of spirit flows in that prayer and allowing it to do that however it needs to. So I encourage you to be in that place of faith, to turn away from any seeming lack, any seeming problem, and know that in truth, Spirit's got this. Do that, those practices, the spiritual tools that lead us to that higher space of. Use the tools that we have to change our thinking and therefore changing our lives. That affirmative prayer which says, I know, and I know that I know. And then I gratefully let it go and give it over. Letting God be God, getting out of the way, and being in that peaceful space, knowing the truth, and expecting in that joyful expectancy for the miracles to come forth, expecting the demonstrations. So I'm expecting those demonstrations for you. I am knowing that peace, that love, that harmony for and as you today. And as we come to a close tonight, I want to just say this is my email, gina@believeinouttoday.com. I am a practitioner that's available for sessions as well as a life coach. If there's anything I can do to help you manifest that wonderful, joyful journey, please let me know. And if you've been blessed by this network, which has plenty of good news, please go to ntmedia.org and you can hit the donate button. We are here because of people like you. So again, it's going to ntmedia.org and hit donate and really know that, let people know there's good news. Tell people about the network and know that we are here with scientific prayer. We are here with that affirmative prayer. Every morning and every evening, our prayer team is here for you. 8:15 a.m. and p.m. Central Time, and it's 10:15 a.m. and p.m. on the East Coast where I am. And we are here at prayer@ntmedia.org and can know that truth for you as well. So we are here to reach out to us anytime. So Be in that place of knowing you can control what you think about, what you feel, what you experience. There's so much power in that. And simply allow divine love to be and flow and show up exactly where you are, knowing it is for you, joyfully for you. And I invite you on that joyful journey with me on Thursday afternoons. The joy is in the journey at 3 p.m., where we talk about how to have more, experience more of that joy that is within. So again, I thank you for being here and being the change we wish to see. I wish you a peace-filled and joy-filled week. I wish you blessings and love. Namaste.